Hello everyone and welcome to presentation on time of supply with regard to services. The importance to determine time of supply is actually to identify when liability to pay to pay tax on the services, let's say CGST or SGST or IGST, in this GST regime will arise. So in this presentation, in this video tutorial, we are going to discuss time of supply with regard to services. Section 13 deals with time of supply of model GST law. Section 13 subsection 1 says significance. Liability to pay CGST, SGST arises at the time of supply. So we have divided the presentation in various cases and we are going to discuss each case, and under each case what would be the time of supply. So in general, or when there is a normal supply, in such case, earlier of date of issue of invoice, date as per period allowed under section 28 subsection 2 or section 28 subsection 5. Section 28 subsection 5 deals with continuous supply, or date of receipt of payment, whichever is earlier. So earlier of any of these points will become time of supply, and one needs to collect and pay tax to the government. So for example, let's say you have issued the invoice but you have not received the payment. Then issue of invoice becomes the important. In case where you are receiving money in advance but you still need to provide the services to your client, in that case date of receipt being earlier to date of issue of invoice becomes important, and one needs to collect and pay tax. Similarly, under the continuous supply, there could be various circumstances. One, let's say the milestones on which the payment will arise, or on the payment milestones on which one needs to issue of invoice is clearly given. Then based on the milestone, that period will become your the period in which you need to raise an invoice, and that period will become time of supply. So depending upon whichever is earlier, we need to find out the time of supply. So whichever is earlier will become time of supply. Case 2 could be reverse charge services received from non-resident associated enterprises. Means one needs to pay taxes on the reverse charge basis, and this case specifically pertains to when the Indian entity is receiving services from non-resident associated enterprises. Definition of associated enterprises needs to be seen from the Income Tax Act, which is given in section 92A. Earlier of date of entry in books of accounts or date of payment. So whichever is earlier, whether it's entry in books of accounts or date of payment, in case of non-resident AE, it becomes time of supply. It is the second proviso to section 13 subsection 3. Case 3. Reverse charge services received from other than non-resident AE. So what will happen when you need to pay taxes on the reverse charge basis, but you are receiving services from someone other than your non-resident associated enterprises? Earlier of date of payment or date immediately following 60 days from invoice date. So date of payment or date immediately following 60 days from invoice date becomes your time of supply. So let's say you have received the invoice but you have still not made the payment, and it is all now 75 days and you have not made the payment. So the 60 days from the date of invoice was your time of supply. So you should have paid tax based on that 60 days criteria. However, if you are making payment before 60 days, let's say you have received the invoice week back and today you are clearing that invoice. So date of payment, that is today, it will become the time of supply. In case above dates not determinable, time of supply shall be date of entry in the books of accounts. It is in line with section 13, subsection 3. Case of supply of vouchers. When supply is identifiable, date of issue of voucher. When supply is not identifiable, date of redemption of voucher. So when you are issuing the voucher and you are sure that this voucher is, let's say, will going to use only for the haircut, then time of supply will become date of issue of voucher. Let's say when you are issuing an invoice, issuing a voucher of 2000 rupees, and that 2000 rupees voucher can be redeemed against any of the product in your shop, or or any of the services which you are providing, then time, as services are not identifiable, so we cannot say supply is identifiable, and then in such case date of redemption of voucher will become important. So this was a short presentation on time of supply with regard to services. We have more presentations available on our YouTube channel. So hope you are enjoying and understanding the basic framework of GST through this video tutorials. In case if you have any query, feel free to write us on Gaurav, Gaurav @jgarg.com, or call me on my mobile number 9899994934. Thank you.